FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
It's the morning drive with me, Tim Elliott. This is Mira Business FM, and it's real estate now that we turn our attention to. Wednesday morning. Is it Wednesday morning? It is. How is it Wednesday morning already, Mario Volpi?
I know, it goes so quickly. Good morning.
Genuinely, I get to the end of the week and I think, it's the weekend, great. And then it's Monday, and then it's another week, and I'm just, fast approaching mortality.
It's Dubai, I have to say. It
Do you think
goes
it's the
so
speed?
quick.
Yeah,
so
it is.
quick.
It is. We live in one of those super fast metropolis places. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
How are you this morning after the events of the previous evening and Cole Palmer's?
Bit croaky because I've been shouting at the TV, obviously.
Yeah.
We grabbed... What was it? We grabbed defeat out of the jaws of victory. Is that the expression?
I think that's one way.
Yeah, look, we were cruising it 2-0 at the bridge. Bearing in mind that Leeds had beaten us at Ellen Road, so we were a bit of a grudge match in that respect. And just two silly defensive mistakes led to their goals. They had 2 shots on target, and obviously they scored both of them. And then, as you saw, in the 94th minute, Caicedo passes the ball to Cole Palmer, who's running in. The goal is completely gaping. I don't even know. I can't remember where the goalkeeper was. Empty goal, and he manages to balloon it over the. And that was it. That was the 3-2. But
sometimes, it's just not meant to be. I mean, I didn't know. I went to bed last night, woke up this. I hadn't even looked at the scores. You come in, and I can tell from the look on your face that all was not well. So I watched it online, and it is a remarkable miss. But these things, they're meant to haunt us, aren't they?
Yeah, all is not well in the face because I've only had 3.5 hours sleep again every Wednesday because of a Tuesday night game.
Yeah,
what to do?
Do you think there's ever going to be a point where you're fresh when you come in
Well,
here?
it would be nice, wouldn't it? But no, there's what is it? There's two every 3 days is a game now, at least for a particular team.
Yeah,
And every day seems to be a game. If it's not the Premiership, Carling Cup is now sort of over, apart from the final. You got FA Cup Friday. So Friday is another 11:30 kickoff game. So
it would be hard to be a professional footballer, I think now.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, can we talk about real estate?
I think we should.
I don't want to talk about football anymore.
No, it'll get better, don't worry. Cavendish Maxwell panel. You've been on a panel last, yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, they invited me on a month or so ago, and I thought, well, that's very good forward thinking, because it seemed so far in the future. But again, as we say, the weeks just roll on. It was at Skyview Hotel downtown, very nice hotel, and it was a big thing by all accounts. They normally launch their sort of yearly review at these events. I've been to a few of them.
Right.
I've also been the MC at one stage, if I remember rightly, many moons ago.
Okay.
But Dubai Eye was there.
Right.
They were broadcasting from the lobby. It was a veritable who's who. So many people that I hadn't seen for a while, and good to see they're still around. Because when I go to a lot of these property launches, and I look around, I don't recognise anybody because they're all young, new agents.
Yeah, for sure.
But these were the stalwarts. The owner of Astico, Elaine, was there, and
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, just literally people who have been here for 30, 40 years, or at least been in the business 30, 40 years, not in Dubai, but. She was there, and a few ex-colleagues. But what was really, I'm going to say was really nice, is that when it all finished, because I was on the panel, and of course I tried to be as controversial as possible, because I'm on a panel with a load of economists.
Oh dear.
And one other real estate guy called Rakesh. I mean, lovely people, all of them, lovely people. I made a few sort of bold predictions just to stir things up. But what was really nice is that when it all finished and we all went off, the amount of people that actually came up to me, and now this sounds like I'm a celebrity, but not at all, just saying, we just wanted to come say hello. We listen. We've been listening to the podcast for many years, Emiratis as well. Talking to local Emiratis, saying that they've been reading The National for a while. So. What's nice for me is that, I mean, I do this, sort of week in, week out, and you don't get any feedback. I I mean, the fact that I'm still doing it must mean that's feedback in itself, that they haven't kicked you off.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sign.
But what I'm saying is, it's nice to actually hear from genuine, real people who have said. One guy that I met, he was from San Diego, and he's over here now working for a consultancy firm, and they do say, the information you gave sort of made me go down this road, and now I'm in Dubai myself, So powerful stuff, actually.
That is. I mean, the podcast has done so well, hasn't it? This is for anybody that doesn't know, this is the Dubai Property Podcast that you do. Is it twice a week, or is it?
I do it.
You're going back to twice a week.
No. Yeah, I do it twice a week.
Yeah.
It comes out on a Tuesday morning and at the weekend. Incidentally, it's actually for sale. Did you know that?
I didn't. I couldn't afford you, Mario.
Well, it's not. I mean, I don't know whether. I assume I would come with it. I don't know if they might want to change. Whoever wants to buy it. It's like a football team, isn't it? If you don't like the striker, you get a new one, don't you?
Maybe just get a transfer.
I don't know, but yeah. So the guy that runs it, he's from New Zealand, funny enough.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been wanting to sell it. It's interesting because all the information that is stored, all the past records and the broadcasts there, apparently they've got, well, I say apparently, they've got this sort of AI that they can get them translated into Mandarin, into Hindi, into Russian, into
Right.
It will be completely global, Arabic. So Mario can speak Mandarin and Arabic and all the rest of it. So it'll be my voice, but it'll be in that language. I think it's mind-blowing.
So it's you.
Yeah, you'll be me. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
No, it's not just a voiceover.
Could you do it now for us?
Ni hao, no. La is no, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah. See,
la is
see,
definitely
see?
no, yeah.
17 years not wasted then.
Oh,
One
I tell you
word.
what, that we have peeled away so many of the layers of the Mario onion today. I've learned
Yeah,
a
there you
great
go.
deal about you. Your comic book interest as well, we touched on before we came on air. So what were you talking about on the panel? What was the idea of the panel?
Yeah, look, they had Daniel, I can't remember his last name, Daniel from Emirates MBD. He's the economist. So he actually started off talking about the economy, and then Zan went through the figures for 2025 and some predictions for 26, and the panel had questions thrown at them, what about oversupply? What do we think is going to happen? The geopolitical rhetoric that's flying around. Yeah. I mean, all the stuff that you would actually expect. My particular theme as an agent is always I'm always trying to be positive in life anyway, but in real estate as well, I always say what goes up has to come down. But I don't think the down bit will be, as some people call it, a crash or a correction, and I hate that word. Stabilization has to come up. And actually, Zan started off by coming on stage with an apple, right? And he threw it up in the air, and obviously it came down. And the usual, what goes up has to come down.
Yeah, okay.
And he tried to trick us all by asking us who was the person that said that, and I remembered it was Isaac Newton. So I got my brownie points there from heckling from the front row. And so it was. What was good is you did have those people who think that we are actually heading for a downturn in the growth, and actually, although all you hear is record numbers, sure. But the actual level of growth in terms of what Property Monitor were saying is that actually December and January, whilst we had growth, it's slowing down, and then he said, "What's the definition of a recession?" And that's sort of 2 quarters, isn't it? Of negative, growth.
Yeah.
So quarters are obviously 3 months each. So we're talking half a year. Here he was just talking about the 2 months. What was also discussed is the number of project launches, which is mind-boggling. How new developers are now coming in. And ironically, when I got off stage, this Spanish gentleman came up to me from Valencia and Barcelona, and he said, they're looking to get into the market here. So all these people would never have dreamt of coming to Dubai before, but they've seen the growth, they've seen the level that we work at, and they said, right, we want a piece of that as well. With escrow now, it opens up to someone who maybe hasn't done any business here. If they can demonstrate what they've done in their home country, that helps. But the buyer is obviously protected. So it was a whole, I call it a soup. There was all sorts of things going on, but the consensus was that this year could be a pivotal year, which sort of opened my eyes a little bit, because you do have a lot of inventory coming on board, which will definitely hit. I think it'll hit more the rental market than the sales market. But of course, what happens in rents does tend to follow on in sales. So yeah, let's see what happens. I don't want developers to just keep launching, because they would be the ones that would tip us over into a downward phase. And it's luxury real estate that I think, I'm not going to say it's cast iron, but certainly will be protected to a degree, because the ultra rich, the ultra prime properties are a little bit shielded from, dare I say, what goes on in terms of economically, maybe not so much geopolitically. So it's the mid-range apartments specifically that I think potentially will suffer, because people are paying, although Dubai is still cheaper than the world from a per square foot point of view in terms of major cities, prices have gone up. So some of these people may have started to pay a little bit too much for these properties. And the one thing I was a bit concerned about is when off-plan starts to be more expensive than secondary market, that is when really we have to consider putting the brakes on or doing something. The prediction that I did make was that Dubai last year introduced a first-time buyer scheme. I think we spoke about it.
We talked about it, yeah.
But that was limited to over 18s, someone who hasn't bought in Dubai before. Right. You could have bought in Ras Al Khaimah or Abu Dhabi or whatever, but not in Dubai. And you have to be a resident, so you have to have an Emirates ID, as it were. So those were the kind of three stipulations. Now, of course, that we heard recently that over close to sort of 40,000 people have signed up. Only 2,000 actually have taken it up or gone through with it, which does mean what's happened to the other 38,000? Are they still in the pipeline, or did they just register? So we're not sure yet. But it definitely is a leg up, if you like, for a first-time buyer, or at least a buyer that will fall into that category. So my prediction was that whilst today it's limited to those over 18s will always be, I think, but I think that if the market does start to go on the wane, and maybe we don't hear these headlines anymore, which actually is good in some respects, we can't have it keep going up and up and up, is that I'm sure that they'll go back to the drawing board and say, guess what? I think this first-time buyer scheme was a success, and my prediction is they'll open it up to anybody that hasn't bought in Dubai. And I'm talking about not necessarily someone with an Emirates ID.
Right.
And that will keep the ball bouncing, that will keep the momentum, because all of a sudden now, you've been thinking about buying in Dubai.
Yeah.
Great. But now you've got the added incentive that maybe you can get, preferential rates, or paying the 4% accrued over a year or 2 year period, or being able to jump on these projects before everyone does. These are the benefits of it.
Well, I mean, it's an incentive scheme that you can see somewhere down the road being introduced. It's just another option, isn't it? I mean, and that's really what's being offered here. I mean, look at, I was going to ask you about one of the news stories this week, the tokenization story. Again, this is just another way. You're on the blockchain, crypto tech, prop tech trend, if you like, but it's simply a way of opening up the market to more people.
100%, and they've already done. I read about this yesterday myself. So the government has opened this up already from a trial period. to 2 properties. The first one, if I remember rightly, sold out in under 2 minutes. I think it was 1 minute 58 seconds to be precise.
Super fast, yeah.
And the second one literally was seconds. And the reason why it sold out so quickly is because it's rare, because no one else is doing it. It is a trial period, but they had so many people subscribe to it. But it does, as I mentioned before, it does open the market up to everybody.
Yeah.
So when we talk about fundamentals in the property market, mainly driven by population growth, it's naive to think that all those 4 million people that are there, or over now 4 million people, there's only a percentage that are of a certain age and have the ability to buy. I mean, Dubai is being built around us by a lot of labourers and blue-collar workers, which make part of that number of population. So those individuals, unfortunately, are not part of the numbers of all these records buying real estate. But tokenization could be the way to allow someone to actually then take a slice of that. Because I think we talked before, one company had a minimum requirement of, I think, of 2,000 dirhams, but I think you're right. There was another one of around 500 dirhams.
That's right. It's a low entry
as a minimum entry point. Yeah. So listen, 500 dirhams is also still a lot of money compared to what a lot of these labourers are actually earning. But what I'm saying is you can have a slice of the Dubai dream, in inverted commas, and it just opens it up to everybody. And so, yeah, will it become mainstream anytime soon? Who knows? But for sure, I think what might happen is, and again, we discussed this in the other room, that it might push up or continue to push prices up. Because if you're opening it up to too many people, and a seller wants to go down that route of saying, rather than selling it to one person who thinks my price is overpriced and therefore is not going to buy it, when you actually open it up to 8 people, 20 people, 100 people, however many they mix it up with, even though it might be overpriced, that 1/100th of a figure is immaterial to them. So potentially it's a win-win, because the buyers get the property, the seller gets the price he wants, but it will have a knock-on effect that maybe prices might be pushed up. But who knows? It's just speculation.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, if you missed this story, we were talking about this yesterday as well, but just for anybody that's missed it, this is the second phase of the real estate tokenization project. It's Dubai Land Department. So they said on Monday that the second phase is going to allow resale activity in a regulated secondary market. That starts on the 20th of February, so 10 days or so away, not even that. The latest phase follows the pilot stage, which was launched in March last year in association with VARA, the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, a number of other partners as well. But, as you say, it allows a number of investors to own a portion of a property. You don't have to fully purchase it. It's all recorded in the blockchain. It's all, above board, perfectly acceptable, and it's a new way of doing things.
Yeah, definitely. And also, buying in is easy, but also selling is also easy.
Yeah.
So getting out of the investment is also relatively easy. So if you feel either you've made a mistake or you something has happened in your life and you need to withdraw, it's not like then selling a property. There'll be other investors that will take over your portion. So is it the future of real estate? Possibly. There will always be people who only will want to own their property. Obviously, this is my ball and no one's playing with it type of thing. So I don't think it will overtake it, but it could become a major part, especially in markets that are rising.
Yeah, quite right. No, I love the analogy. This is my ball, and I'm gonna.
No one's playing with it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you could have told Cole Palmer that yesterday. That would have been good, wouldn't it?
Wish he passed.
Yeah, tell me. Mario Volpi is here. He's the one of the voices on the Dubai Property Podcast. You may know him from the National weekly column in the National. For how long? 13
years.
Is it coming up? Is it coming up?
I don't know. I have to check on LinkedIn, actually.
Yeah. Well, no, if you have a question for Mario today, I think there's a couple that have come in, actually, Mario, and we'll get to those after the news. Get in touch. info@mira.fm is simple, and also on the WhatsApp number as well. And to bring that up, you don't need to know the number. Off the top of my head, I've gone and forgotten it, but I know you can type whatsapp.mira.fm and you'll be able to get through that way. Some more news to come, and then we'll talk to Mario about some of the other topics that we have lined up today. That is coming up right now. This is Mira Business FM, and the news is next. It's the morning drive. This is Mira Business FM. My name is Tim Elliott, and I'm joined this morning by Mario Volpi, who is a senior real estate figure in town, a man about town, a real estate pundit, and an all-round good guy in a pinstripe suit.
Today.
Yeah. There you go. Mario,
you.
Thanks for sticking around.
No
So we were talking about the Cavendish Maxwell panel that you were on. Lots of interesting commentary. Speculative, but who knows what's going to happen. But, what may be happening in the market. I think they're in on Friday, actually. Ronan Arthur's coming in here on Friday, so I'll ask him more questions. I wanted to bring up a couple of news stories with you because I think this is a big deal. Abu Dhabi's Aldar Dubai Holding expanding their joint venture. This is a huge thing. 14,000 new homes in Dubai. It's a 38 billion dirham project. The last thing they did together, couldn't get that for love nor money.
Yeah, no, this is very big, and obviously this is one of the things that we talked about, property launches, but there was a distinct lack of villa communities, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
There's an oversupply of apartments. I think 80% of the launches last year were apartments. There are a few more mixed-use projects coming on board, linking in actually with commercial, because that's an asset class. I'm talking about A-grade commercial offices.
Yep.
There's a distinct lack of those. So Damac, for example, and a few others are bringing in sort of first-class apartments with Class A commercial units as well. So they're filling a gap, but definitely villas, townhouses, proper houses, as I call it, with their own garden, and this has all been borne out literally since the time of COVID, because everybody being trapped in their homes. If you're in an apartment, it's harder than if you're if you have a garden, no matter how small, and that's why apartments with balconies were a godsend. And I remember. We were trying to sort of sell some apartments or even rent some apartments that had no balcony or had no outside space at all. Honestly, you couldn't give them away for love nor money.
Really?
So the fact that this particular joint venture, and let's not forget, Dubai Holdings is the big daddy. Dubai Holdings is the one. I mean, that is Dubai real estate.
Yes.
They have so much land, and they've done so many either joint ventures or just sold off land to other developers. So you've got to be in as a real estate company. You've got to be in with Dubai Holdings. Aldar, another big daddy, obviously of Abu Dhabi. So you've got two. Goliaths, if you like, together, joining hands rather than fighting with each other. And it's good to see that whilst it's 14,000 homes, that there are going to be, villas and townhouses there as well, not just apartments.
That's right.
And it's not going to be far from Nad Al Sheba as well. So that sort of eastern corridor, where definitely the city's also shifting. The city seems to be shifting towards the Jebel Ali area, or that corridor down from Palm Jebel Ali and down.
Yeah.
But of course, this joint venture, if you like, does actually take into consideration Palm Jebel Ali as well.
Yeah.
So there will be some real estate there that Aldar will be building, and it's interesting because they have offices here. I remember Aldar used to have to come down from Abu Dhabi every time to either come to offices, or we used to have to come, go there, and it was a bit of a trek. And the easiest thing was just to open up an office, and now they've got several. I think they've got an amazing villa actually in Jumeirah somewhere that they've acquired.
Oh, it's the next phase of a partnership that launched nearly 3 years ago, and it's a very family-focused kind of community thing that they're doing. Plus, you mentioned the Palm Jebel Ali development. Again, luxury, waterfront. I said to a guest yesterday, we were talking about this story, actually. I just looked at him and I said, no-brainer. And, of course, you get the nod. Yep, that's going to sell out in seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's because, as I've always said, Dubai does an amazing job on the world stage, and when you've got an iconic, a second iconic landmass like Palm Jebel Ali coming to market, it always sells out, and we struggle as agents. You know, we do have people who want to buy, dare I say, the smaller units as well. It's not everybody can afford a 20, 30, 40 million dirham villa on Palm Jebel Ali. Sure. And so they are launching apartments, and they sell out instantly. And of course, you have a buyer, you bring the buyer to the developer, and the developer sort of just looks down at you and say, well, I will choose whether I will sell it to you and your client. You know, it's those relationships that we have to nurture, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because if the buyer or you do not manage to get that unit that the buyer wants, of course the buyer blames you and then goes off, and you lose the client, or at least you lose the confidence of the client. You may have a second chance, but generally speaking you don't. So developer relationships are very, very important with real estate companies, and when we get it right, boy, do they reward you, and things like I've mentioned before, you know, trips abroad in private jets and all these associations with football teams. Everywhere I look now, the you know, Object One are with Nottingham Forest. You've got Leos with Bournemouth. You've got Ohana now with Manchester City. Obviously, you had Damak with Chelsea. Shoba with Arsenal. Yeah. Does anybody want West Ham?
Why did you have to say that?
Because I needed to end the conversation.
I'm not sure that I do at the moment. However, after a draw with Manchester United last night,
I think you've done very well, and you've meant that man who's not cutting his hair until Manchester United win 5 games in a row continues the quest. And I saw a video of him the other day. He's over 400 days.
I know.
I mean, they had a party. They were watching the West Ham game. And there were all these people with the same hair but with wigs, and they were all looking like him, you know. But this guy, honestly, I kind of just give it up, man. It's not going to happen. Just give it up. You've made your point, right? Have a haircut.
Yeah, I just wish I had the hair. That's what's in my head at the moment. There's another news story I wanted to bring up, but it's not massively interesting, but it goes to, you know, a development that's going to be pivotal for Ras Al Khaimah. It's a real change for here. And this is the bridge linking Win Al Marjan Island to the UAE's main road network. Not finished yet, but it's halfway there. So when the resort opens spring 2027, that nice shiny bridge is going to go, you'll be connected to the 311, the 611. Emirates Road, and obviously Mohammed bin Zayed Road.
Look, for me, it just shows these snippets of information about construction. I mean, the Win is topped out now. If you do, I actually haven't gone yet. I'm due to go before next month, so I'll see for myself. Right. But these projects just show you that things are definitely happening. And we talked about the flying taxis. They're going to be coming directly to the Win from Dubai in 2027. Yep. 2026 this year, apparently they're going to start elsewhere, but Ras Al Khaimah will definitely have their direct ones next year. And it's just showing just how much investment is being spent throughout the Emirates, but particularly in Ras Al Khaimah, because, you know, apart from two or three hotels, which I'm sure we've all been to, there was really not much else there. It was the staycation for, you know, it was a good drive. It wasn't too far. All of a sudden, you felt like you were on holiday because you either left on Friday night or you arrived early Saturday morning for your 1 night or 2 night stay, as it were.
That's right.
And ironically, talking about prizes and everything, the reason why I would be going to RAC is because I won a voucher to have a 1 night stay for 2 with 2 massages as well thrown in.
Very nice.
So I'll ask the listeners who wants to come with me because my wife's in London. Form an orderly queue.
I'm not quite sure how to take that.
No gentlemen allowed. No, I'm joking. But I do want to go down to see what it's like now, because I haven't been there for a while. And obviously to see this hotel, this tower really taking shape, and it is going to be the jewel in the crown of Ras Al Khaimah. But I believe it's not going to be the only, and they've not announced any yet, of course, but I do believe it's not the only casino that's going to be there.
Apparently not. Apparently there is another. But you're right about the tower. The tower is now nearly 300 metres tall. It's up to the 71st floor. The bridge is on schedule for completion, I think, late this year as well. So you're going to see that happen. And then, of course, it all opens. Is it spring next year?
I think it is, yeah.
Something like that. Let's go to some questions, Mary. A few people are texting in asking for your expertise. Who knows why? Ben is asking, how can I protect myself? You kind of pointed at this earlier on. How can I protect myself from overpaying in Dubai? Is there a standardized price? I've only been here for less than a year, but I want to make sure I don't overpay. Ben wants to buy a one-bed apartment.
So, unfortunately for the consumer, there isn't anything other than looking on the portals, but looking at the portals does not give you it gives you an asking price. You don't know what they've gone for. So I would suggest to Ben, if he's got his friendly neighbourhood agent, or whoever he's buying or thinking of buying through, before he makes an offer, we as agents, we have access to Property Monitor, which is part of the Cavendish Maxwell stable.
Yeah.
And Property Monitor explains exactly what has been sold, what has been valued from a remortgage point of view, whether it's an OCUD, so it's a first sale or a secondary market sale. And obviously it gives you the sizes, it gives you the floor. And we as agents, we have access to that. I say we have access, you've got to subscribe to it, obviously. But I would imagine that most agents do. So if I was a buyer, the fact that I don't have access to that, I would request that my agent please goes into Property Monitor and has a look in that tower for that particular unit. What else has been sold this year or the last 6 months, for example. And we have the ability to download it as a PDF and send it to clients. And we do use it this way often when we're trying to get listings on. When we're trying to put properties on the market. Because you're saying, right, I want to sell my apartment and I want 2 million for it. Yeah. And even looking online, probably the most expensive is 1.7, and it's probably only worth about 1.5. So what we tend to do is we try to educate the seller in this case to say, look, your 2 million is a bit optimistic because look, the one directly below you, same unit series, but one floor down or one floor up or whatever, sold for X to show you as an owner that this is the real price, because a real price is what someone is prepared to pay for it at the end of the day.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but ultimately we are rebuked because they say, I don't care what the Property Monitor says, that's the price I want. So then the agent decides to put it on or not. But that's what I would do. So I'd do it the invert. And if you're thinking of buying a specific unit, you've seen it, you like it, just ask them, and there should be no reason at all why they wouldn't share that information with you.
It would make sense. That's really good advice. Ben, there's the answer. Lizzie, I read an article that rents in Dubai will get lower. I mean, you're starting to see this being talked about, aren't you? I just moved to Sharjah, but I admit the traffic makes it difficult. I work in Dubai. Do you think rent will really ease? Because I'm thinking of reconsidering my options.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know when her properties up for renewal or what have you, and nobody can really time this, but we are definitely seeing in certain areas either through oversupply or literally just too many properties available and not going as quickly as some landlords, so they have to drop the prices. Either that, or what you'll probably also see is some more incentives coming in. So the landlord will always want the one check payment, the year up front, of course.
Yes.
Incentives, I mean, maybe being able to pay in more multiple checks rather than statutory. Anything from 1 to 4 is the norm. Maybe 6 checks will creep in, or 12 checks, dare I say, which there are lots of companies that offer this facility now anyway. Through the referencing part that has come through here to Dubai. But generally speaking, most landlords are resistant to more checks because they're frightened of bounce checks or non-payment, etc., etc. So the norm, I think, will always be 1 till 4. But if an owner is reluctant to drop the price, then maybe he might offer incentive of more checks, or dare I say, pay for 12 but get 13.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's that as well.
Yeah.
The easy one would be just to drop the price, but sometimes, a lot of the time, landlords and indeed owners are very reluctant to do that. I remember the 6 years of house price deflation from 2014 to 2020, when we should have had a recovery, but then COVID came and we didn't, so it came to 2021. That 6-year period, I mean, prices came down 40%, but it took 6 years to come down 40%. Whereas the recovery from 21 onwards, I mean, literally, it was double-digit recoveries. Within sort of 6 months to a year, every year, going up and up and up. So Dubai tends to go up very quickly, and they don't like coming down. So they're quite stubborn.
I'm so with you. During that time, 2014 to 2020. Mine just kept creeping up because it came from a lower base. So in the end, it all kind of came out in the wash,
I guess.
All right, Lizzie, there you go. But it's from what you read in the papers, and maybe incentive schemes are going to come in a little bit. John, thank you for answering my question last week about my contract when my landlord asked for it, but we both don't have a copy. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that
question that came in. You said I can find it on my UAE pass, but it's not there. Okay.
I'm talking about the original one. It should be there.
It really should be.
Well, there has to be, because if it was registered at Ijari, it's somewhere. I mean, I say the UAE pass. I mean, it's got to be somewhere. If it's not UAE pass, then it's the REST app or whatever apps that they've got. Go to the land department and ask for a copy. Someone somewhere has it.
Do you know, it's funny that I was on UAE Pass last night and I was downloading. I've just renewed my visa, got a new Emirates ID, so I downloaded those and they're in because you can request different documents, can't you? And I thought, I'll do vehicle licenses as well. I got trying to get my car, and it wasn't downloading for whatever reason. And I know that it's registered properly, and it may just be the app, it may just be functionality. Who knows?
I mean, sometimes there is a glitch. But going back to sort of John's question, that if it's registered at Ijari, therefore it's registered, so it's somewhere. It's just a case of perhaps finding where they've put this particular one or whatever, but it should be on the UAE pass. So I would suggest he goes to the land department and asks them what his next move should be, because if it's registered, it is somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Carl, I haven't watched this is Carl, who enjoys your glasses.
Oh, the glasses,
I
Carl.
think, yeah, Carl with a C. I haven't watched the past few weeks, but I always listen on the podcast. Watching on YouTube now. Hello, Carl. Question, Mary. This has nothing to do with real estate at all. Mary's no longer wearing his trademark glasses. There's like an unhappy, smiley face.
I've got these ones.
Do you want to buy mine? Are not in? Those are good.
I've got sort of tortoiseshell here and just white there.
It's a good look.
But I don't need glasses to see you. It's if I need to read something, then obviously I have to put them on. But
that's true. So Carl, there are glasses there.
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint.
Sorry.
But, back. It's amazing what people need. Noel is saying, I've just visited my friend in Jumeirah Garden City, the Great Satwa.
Yes.
Of course, and I love the place. Rent's also not too high, according to my friend. Do you have more information if this area might increase rental prices in the coming years? I want to know before I decide on moving there. Get your crystal ball.
I am so happy for this question, and I'm going to do a shameful plug now.
Go on then.
Shameful plug. First of all, let's just talk about the area. It's regenerating. It's relatively low-lying, and pretty much all the buildings that are going to be built, currently under construction, and perhaps the ones in the future, are going to be no higher than nine stories or 10 stories. Okay, I think there's ground floor and then podiums and then maybe 8 or 9 stories. So maybe it will be a little bit bigger, but the actual structure, from a lift point of view for the residences, will be 1 to 8, 1 to 9.
Gotcha.
It is not far from the beach.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's walkable.
It's not far from Sheikh Zayed Road. In fact, it's just behind.
Yep.
You've got three metro stations, I think. World Trade Center, you've got Museum of the Future, and you've got Emirates Towers as well. You've got 3 metro stations, all within the vicinity.
Yep.
You've got the DIFC that I think it was last week announced a gazillion billion or whatever it is amount of money to be spent for DIFC 2. Yeah, don't quote me on the numbers. A gazillion billion.
Gazillion billion, it was a lot.
A lot of money was earmarked for DIFC 2, which, let's face it, is on the other side of the road. I know it's a 12-lane highway, and therefore it's a big road, but it's still the other side of the road. These people, people will be working there.
Yep.
So it's logical, where are they going to live? And rather than, dare I say, a bit like the other listener, why be in Sharjah and travel all that way in when you could be literally opposite and have you leave later, you get home earlier. So that whole area of Jumeirah Garden City, and I haven't even mentioned the Loop, the Loop. There's the other one, another transportation system. So honestly, I hate this cliche, but it is a no-brainer. It literally is a no-brainer. And because they are developing it now, you can get in for a central area that is literally a stone's throw from the Museum of the Future. To get in now at relatively low levels, do it. From a living point of view. If you're buying it to live in it, then buy real estate anytime, because it doesn't matter, you're living in it.
Yeah.
If it's an investment, it can only go one way with all this money that is being spent in the environs. Yes, it might be a building site for the next year or 2 or 3, but who's to say that Dubai isn't a building site? It is ongoing all the time. So from an investment point of view, I think Jumeirah Garden City is something that people should look at. There are many different developers there as well. Some local and some foreign. So this is where the shameful plug comes in.
Okay.
This coming Saturday, Valentine's Day, if you don't have a lover, or even if you do, give the gift of real estate to your lover and come and join me between 1 and 5 in Court Tower, Business Bay, opposite the JW Marriott Marquis, where I can show you the show apartment of a 1-bedroom in Jumeirah Garden City, where the developer it's a Chinese developer, yeah? Right. They've done 3 properties here, so they've not done much, but they are like the Emaar of China. They've built so much in China. Quality is amazing, very good price. I know it sounds like a plug, but literally, Jumeirah Garden City, if you put all that to one side, it's got to go up from the point of view of what they're spending on it. It has to be.
It really does make sense.
So if this gentleman is thinking about it, do not hesitate. Whether he comes to see me or not, whatever, Jumeirah Garden City, I think, definitely is way forward.
That's Noel. It's also got, right in the middle of December the 2nd Street, one of the single greatest Lebanese restaurants of all time.
From your point of view?
From my point of view, I lived on the street for a few years, long time ago, and Al Mallah, oh man, I love that place.
Still there?
Still there, right in the middle of the street. Noel, I heard your question. I agree, it's an excellent place. Metro, Sheikh Zayed Road, shops, near everything. My rent keeps on increasing, but still reasonable, probably because I started living there during the pandemic when everything was a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
So completely in agreement with you, as we always are. Mario Volpi is a Senior VP for Investment Advisory. He's with Allegiance Real Estate, but also the Dubai Property Podcast, and he is in the National every week, and he is a man about town. And he's a Chelsea supporter, but we let him off that. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Appreciate you coming in. This is Mira Business FM. It's the news now.